Okay.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah, we had a malfunction, but I fixed
we're sorry, we had a malfunction, but we're back up
it.
again.
Yeah, I got it fixed now. You know, we rushed in here at the last minute,
I
so
know.
Robin ain't the only one that was being a little late tonight.
And you know, y'all don't forgive us, but we've been
Hi.
running in here behind another
Robin is
show.
actually telling us hi, everyone.
Hello, Robin.
Where are you, dear heart?
Yes. You got the car? Are you driving?
Okay, we got all the hearts. We love you too. She's like, LOL. I got an LOL for you. Leave wherever you're going and get your butt over here.
There you go, LOL.
Leave now. All right. So we got some minutes before the show comes back on. Christos, why don't you lead us out with one of your thoughts for today?
Yeah, what kind of thoughts you got going on in that head? And can we reach out for them?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, sure. You know, because you started a fight last week.
Yeah, what's your thoughts?
Oh, not this nice man. He
Yeah, he
doesn't.
did.
Christos, yeah.
Just because he just don't mean he don't start
You
fighting.
know what I do? I think this is kind of natural.
Oh, not this gentle lamb.
Yeah, real gentle lamb.
This gentle Greek lamb. You said
Oh, yeah.
Greek lamb, right.
You got that part right.
Well, you know, Greeks make good lamb, so.
Right.
Usually, yeah, you're true. Every Easter, I roast a whole lamb.
Oh, good, we coming over.
Maybe we should have a big party.
Oh, yeah, we coming.
And maybe,
we coming.
look, I got an idea.
Uh-huh.
Why don't we broadcast from the lamb while it's roasting?
From the lamb.
Yeah.
Where, at the house? We're going to go to the
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
What day is
They
that?
see.
Look, you
What
ain't
day,
got
what day, what
Well,
day,
right.
what day is it?
Put a lamb on it and roast it.
Yes,
That's
and
it.
we
Oh,
and
that's
everything.
Yeah.
I'm there.
Yeah, I'm there
Let's do a
too.
show about that.
We can do that.
Yes.
I want
As long
part
as
of the
we're not
rib.
talking from conception to, you know.
No,
Yeah.
no.
As long as we don't go
And
that
then the
far.
funny thing is, the lamb, it's roasting in front of your eyes. You can eat it while it's turning. You stop it, you cut, you put on your plate. That's the best way
There's
to eat
nothing
it.
Oh, I know.
fresh
I
lamb.
know.
Oh my God, are you kidding me?
Goodness.
One year I was roasting,
Uh-huh.
and we were, it was kind of raining, so I put a plastic bag over the lamb with poles.
Uh-huh.
And then I poke a hole and the water was coming on the other side of it, so it would not rain.
Uh-huh.
Now all the Greeks from Greece were sitting outside with the lamb,
Uh-huh.
poking, eating, cooking bread and onions and what have you,
Uh-huh.
until the lamb gets cooked.
Uh-huh.
And all the Amerikanskis were inside the house.
Uh-huh.
And
Staying
they were-
dry.
Yeah, and they were saying, and they were saying about us, look at those idiots. It's raining out, they're sitting outside.
Oh.
And we were saying about them, look at those idiots. Look at this, all of this land we eat.
They stay
Idiots, come on.
So who's the idiot here?
Well, the ones that weren't eating
Wanna eat
lamb. That's right. After all, that was the purpose of them coming, right?
Hey, the hungry ones.
That sounds like cool beans. That's be the
Are you
another
kidding?
kind of barbecue.
And especially if
Yeah.
it's green outside, it's summer.
Oh, yeah.
You guys will love it. You've been
And
saying
it's
every
warm.
weekend you should be doing that.
That's all right. We'll
Look,
come
don't
for
think
it.
we
We
don't
come
want
for the
And
lamb.
I get about 190 to 100 pounder.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How many people does that feed?
That feed quite a bit of people.
It sounds like
Yeah, that feed quite a
Look
bit
at
of
George's
people.
mouth.
That's like a little
Well,
kid.
it's-
100
so-
pounder.
Oh,
That could be
don't let
another.
me visionary a kid. Don't let me
If
try to
you
visionary.
like-
That's 100-pound lamb,
Oh, we
please.
ain't cooking no children out
If
there.
you like lamb, so you invite.
I have, you know what? My girlfriend, she cooked some lamb today.
Oh.
It's amazing. And I got myself a lamb shank and some lamb steaks. They're in the freezer.
yeah.
I haven't cooked them yet.
Oh.
But she's been cooking lamb all this week. I tell you.
I like lamb with potatoes in the oven, with lemon, or roast.
I like mine with
Is that your
lemon.
favorite meal?
I like it with lemon. I like it when you
Yeah, lemon.
when you put plenty of lemon on
The
it.
Greeks put lemon on everything.
Yes. Oh, I know, cause I
We
love
throw
green
lemon.
chicken.
The best.
Now you know that's a shame to say all I know is gyros.
No, gyro no. Gyros don't eat gyro.
Gyro, vegan.
No, because
No, I'm talking about real.
just lamb. That's not just lamb. I don't know.
Originally,
That's mystery meat.
yeah, especially the Chinese is the owner.
Oh, But it might be
But
true.
he
You
just
just
not
don't know.
telling you guys.
Guys, that's a joke.
Look, ain't nobody gonna sit up here and tell you not to say it because everybody says it. Everybody. I'm saying everybody.
We got on our Facebook page, the picture that's on our page, me, you, Robin, and Diamond.
Yeah,
We got 692 people have seen it.
that's
What's
cool.
A picture that we got on our Jamaica.
Girl, wait a
page.
minute. That video that we made at your house when we were hanging out that weekend,
Mhm.
it's got almost 1,000 views.
Yeah, I
on it.
know. I know.
1,000 views, and we
Yeah.
were just doing a little promo video. But that just means you always
Oh, did
started
you do it
too
with your
early
camera
in
there?
life.
No, we did
So,
it
like,
with
with
just
the
regular
camera?
phone.
With
Yeah,
your phone?
yeah.
With your phone?
yeah, that's what we did. We did it.
Let me go up here.
I think we should change the name
Change the name to
what?
what?
from Jamaica Funk Show. I like it the other one.
I'm sorry, but that's what it
And I
is.
keep on saying it.
It's cool. Yeah, it is what it is, Christos.
It's too late now, huh?
Hey, if you feeling funky and froggy, baby, guess what? Yes, I am. This is a live broadcast.
Oh, wow.
But for seriously, Christos, you can always, like, start your own radio show.
No, I don't
Ain't
understand
nobody
my own
stopping
radio
you.
Show. I love this show here with KT and
You
you.
see, I told you like to start stuff. He like to start stuff.
He's like the quiet storm.
Right, he sit up there talking about,
No, but
we
I-
should do this and we should do
What I
that.
do, I don't know, it just comes
You
naturally.
ready? Okay. All
We
right.
going live.
Bring it. So, in our studio, we have with us Miss Joy Cigaramza. Hey, Joy, what's up, baby?
Well, KT, you just make that sound so sweet. Can you just say that again, please?
What's
It's
up?
like, say my name, say my name.
Miss Joy Cigaramza.
Right on, right on. Well, thank you, KT, and
You're
thank you, Jamaica
welcome.
Funk, for this opportunity to be with you guys and Crystal, the Furia, and
Yes.
Johannes. I'm telling you, the poet and artist. I tell you, making me feel really important.
You are.
important.
We love
you.
And you sit right
Yes.
next to me.
Yeah.
I think you did it on purpose.
In divine order, that's all I can say. Well, yes, thank you so very much. It's Black History Month.
Yes.
I'll tell you.
So, Joy, you do a thing called Emancipation Proclamation. Tell our listeners what is that about?
Well, gladly, and as I said, I'm so happy you asked me that question.
All right.
Emancipation Proclamation it's an assignment that was given to me, as one would say, the Spirit moved me one day, as I was going through a healing process, or a lack of healing, because I had experienced a really bad situation with my back for a long period of time, and I told God, I said, hey, you know what, if I gotta continue with this, I don't wanna deal with this. So if there's something that you got me to do, then make it known to me. And so a couple of days later, the Lord asked me, said, hey, do you know about the Emancipation Proclamation? I said, oh yeah, sure, I know. Well, I mean, we all know that, right? We all know.
Right.
But then about 3 days later, he came and said, well, I want you to teach on it. And I did say, oh my goodness, I really don't know much about this. And I got a little embarrassed because as an Afro-American, a Negro, a colored child, and an Afro-American, and a black child, we got all these things going on.
I mean, we got all these
We got all these
names.
names going on.
You're
I'm saying,
international.
who am I? Well, anyway, I just had to say, well, you know what? I really don't know. But then I guess Spirit being Spirit, he says, well, I just want you to teach on it every third Sunday at 3 o'clock. Now, I really was not happy about that, but I said, I did ask for my healing. So I said, I don't know anything about this, but I'm going to try it. And I said, if I fail, it's going to be on you, because I don't know anything about it. But I went on and took on it, and the first thing I had to do was read it. Hello, anybody out there read the Emancipation Proclamation?
I have.
Have you?
Yes, I have.
Wonderful. Well, the very first thing that I recognized when I did it was it says in the year of our Lord. And I said, oh my God, it's acknowledging the presence of divine. And I scooted on and scanned on it, and again, and 5 times I saw that reference there. And I said to myself, now, if the Lord is up in this and references, it looked like somebody else would have been talking about this in the church or somewhere, right? So then I had to read it, look at it, and I realized that this was a very inspired document. It was a legal document and a moral document addressing some issues that many of us don't discuss. And as a result, we're having a lot of issues based upon opinions and stories that really have nothing to do about the truth of who we are.
Mhm.
Because even here with Jamaica Funk, as I'm sashaying my hips, girl, I feel so good. You know, we would not even be able to have the Jamaica Funk had it not been for the Emancipation Proclamation.
Yeah.
And so, as a people emancipated, we become angry. And so, when you're angry and you're frustrated and you're disgusted about things, you know, it's very difficult for you to come in the right light of truth.
That's true.
And it's very difficult for you to take on, it takes it to the church, amen. So what had happened, I was inspired to read it and to find out that this Emancipation Proclamation not only is a spiritually inspired document, but it's a legally inspired document that transformed, shifted, and connected this whole country back to the original sacred Constitution intent.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a moral inspired document that addressed and confronted the accepted 3/5 of a person. You know, we don't recognize the fact that KT, once upon a time they had Christmases, 45 Christmases. And our ancestors sometimes was the Christmas gift.
Right.
Hello.
That's right.
Hello.
Well, that was because-
bartered and bartered and bartered.
And that was because we were a commodity and not a human being.
We were, exactly, it was a compromise of the humanity and stripped of divinity. And it makes me say, something we need to be talking about, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And so the street consciousness, it affected our nation, and it affected our perceptions and our sensory reflections of each other. I'm sitting right next to the warm, calm storm of the furry Christos.
The Christos.
Yes.
And this would not be possible had it not been for the Emancipation
That's
Proclamation.
That's right.
Hello. Or even for him to be able to come over to this country.
Or be in this room with us.
Hello.
Wow.
I'm from the South. I know about that.
Yeah.
We can actually look you in the eye and say
Definitely.
stuff.
Honey child. Even I had to go to the back of the church. Even when I wanted to worship, I had to sit in the back of the church. I couldn't go to the front. Hello. And it's still impacting us today.
Yeah.
And why is it impacting us today? It's because we're not discussing it. Because of the light and the divinity that is there and the mind and that all went into creating this document, because this was a presidential proclamation.
Mm-hmm.
And Abraham Lincoln should be a part of our black history, because
Yes.
if we had not had this proclamation, then Carter G. Woodson would not have been able to do what he did. And one of the things he said, you know, if we don't come together as a people with some traditions, we're going to grow extinct.
Right.
And this is important.
And you know what? That's very true. That's very true.
And January 1st should not just be New Year's Eve, but January 1st should be a sacred day for us.
Well, I have my brother-in-law. He always throws an Emancipation Proclamation party on January 1st. I mean, he enjoys 4th of July, but he always, and I've started to recently, in recent years, acknowledge January 1st as an Independence Day for African Americans in this country.
That's right. That's when Selling Day became Freedom Day.
Yes.
Because that was the day that Massa used to take his books
Yeah.
and balance his books. And if his books didn't come out right, then somebody had to go.
That's right. And when he listed us, when we were listed amongst his assets, we were listed with the pigs and the cows and the chickens.
The wheat and the corn.
That's
the
right.
potatoes,
Because
whatever
we,
it was that he
that's
owned
right.
on his
Because
property.
we were his property.
Wow.
We were part of the stock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, we were.
So
And-
there was no salary even to you?
Oh, no,
Not in the
no,
South.
no,
Nowhere
no.
near the South.
I think you're talking about celery. They grew it in the ground.
Well, I'm sorry if I'm.
Because I know you can't be talking about a salary.
Yeah,
Yeah, you gotta be talking about celery.
When we're talking
No,
about
I'm talking about money.
No,
They're compensated.
people
No,
pay. No.
for what?
People actually paid money for us,
That's right.
but
We
did
didn't
not
get none of
money
it. Matter
for
of
anything.
fact.
Matter of fact, here's the real deal, Christos, and a lot of people they wash over it. Everything we had was given to us by Master. even though we were the ones that made the shoes, made the dresses, made all the undergarments, seriously, the slaves were the ones who kept the mistresses looking good in their clothes, or the clothes that they made, because we were the ones who actually made the fiber, the actual cloth.
Also, but wait a minute.
Yeah.
Also, for us to get our freedom, we had to work it. We had to pay for our freedom. You know, the only way a black person in the South or a black person who was a slave became a free man, which was rare.
Mm-hmm.
But in order to become a free man, you had to buy your freedom.
And you have to have, and you could buy your freedom, but that's only if the master said that it was okay for
Okay,
That's right. That's right.
What do you mean by buy your freedom? Money-wise, you buy your freedom? Or-
Yeah.
Whatever master said that was his money that you could give him. It could have been like, you got to do this for a certain amount of time. And a lot of the slaves that did do that, they would reach the agreement and come to the master and say, well, you know, I did what you told me to do. Today's supposed to be the day that I'm supposed to get my freedom. But by you being a slave, he could say, I changed my mind.
Now, why they call him master?
Because that's
what they were.
Well, here's the deal. When you are a slave, and you look up slavery, okay, because I know you asking these questions out of curiosity.
Right.
Yeah.
But when you look up slavery, what you understand is when you are a slave to someone, you belong to them. And so that's why they called him master, because that's what he deemed to be called.
Yeah, he told them to
So,
call him
but
that.
wait a
They
minute.
didn't just make it up.
Right, and no, they didn't just make it up. That's what they had to call. But Joy, go ahead.
Right, that's one of the things, that's one of the absolute delights that I have, is when someone comes and asks the kind of questions, which is so innocently and really asking out of curiosity. And because we have not discussed it, and many of our people who are descendants of that line, because of the treatment, many of us are still pained, we're still hurt, and it's very difficult.
We still exerting
it's difficult to talk about it, but I'm so happy now I can talk about it, because I realize that in order for my community to go forward, we have to, those of us who can ride above the pain, not to forget what has gone on, but be able to tell the story so that others can come in.
Ask Joy the question, is burning on his lips.
Come on, here.
Okay, is America still a racist country?
Yeah, very racist.
On both sides too, so don't go thinking we just talking about white people racism. It's on both, all fronts.
All
It's
fronts,
just a
all
racist
fronts,
country.
all fronts, and it all stems from that.
Okay, when I say if America is still a racist country, racism can be for anybody.
Yes.
So that's my question.
That's why we said on all fronts.
Right.
It's not
So-
just, when I say racism exists, I don't mean just because somebody's white and don't like black people.
Right.
Or just because somebody's black and doesn't like white people.
And-
It's on all fronts.
Wait a minute. But wait a minute. Y'all hold that.
Hold
Y'all
that.
hold
I-
that.
'cause
Y'all
I want us
those
to get
points.
above that.
I
I want us
have
to get
another
above
question.
that.
Wait a minute. Hold that point. Hold that
Okay.
point. Because we have to get ready to go to break.
Oh,
You know, we
oh,
do.
no.
We do have to pay to be here.
I just started.
That way
Yeah.
you get to come back and do some more.
That's right. So, you're listening to the Jamaica Funk Show on urbanbroadcastmedia.com/UBM Talk. Check us out on Facebook on Jamaica Funk Show with KT. You can also check us out on Twitter, KT/Jamaica Funk Show. And Instagram, which is KT_Jamaica_Funk. Our phone number here is 312-754-4333. Our phones are working. We will be back in just a moment. Well, Ira.
All right. No, well, obviously there's some conversation
Smooth
going on.
fingers.
Robin, well, you know what?
I know Robin's on it 'cause she
Robin
tried
is
to call me a
checking.
minute ago.
Yeah, but you know what? Robin is
Hey,
fielding questions for us. So
on the
could
table
you?
now.
Yes, ma'am.
Crystal,
What's the question?
Well, the question is, I might question you on this, but I don't recall.
Okay.
This is my question. The whole world, not just this country, the whole world,
Uh-huh.
we adopted democracy from Greece, right?
What, America?
Yeah, everybody.
Oh, I don't know. I
Yeah,
don't
democracy started
know.
in
I thought it
Greece.
came from, thought it came from
No.
the fact that we were, actually, America was not a democracy. We were a republic.
Yes, America was
But
started out
idea-
as a republic.
the ideas of
From a republic to our
no,
Mm.
the ideas based on democracy. So the world
Okay.
adapted democracy from Greece,
Uh,
German cars, Chinese computers, tea from India, and we adapting from every country the
thought
best.
tea from China and computers from India.
On both fronts,
If you
right?
wanna do it that way, fine. So what is this idea that I don't like you, you don't like me?
Well,
When we're all adapting and
There-
getting things from different countries.
Well, first of all, Christoph, are you
What?
from America? Were you born here?
No.
Okay, so that's where I'm just giving everybody his idiom is from
Oh, I
somebody who
got
was
it,
not
I got
born
it,
here.
yeah.
Right.
So another person can still have your same ideals and be born here and have a lot of underlying nonsense in that.
well,
Statement
not,
that
no,
you
well,
made.
well,
I
go
know
ahead,
people
Joy,
who
go
are
ahead.
here. There are people who are. Actually, I'm a girlfriend. She's Hispanic, and it wasn't until she got into an Afro-American history class that she became just outraged. And she said, she and I were together all the time, loving. But you know what? I realized that she came and she says, "Joy, I just learned what they did to you all in slavery. I see why you're mad. I just don't understand how I'm in this country and I don't know these things." And I thought, and I said, she's my friend, and I've never really talked
Well,
to
you
her
know,
about it.
I was
You know.
telling you of
And
the other
that's,
day.
and that's the ignorance. This is something we've got to put
Well,
on the table.
You remember when we were talking the other day on the phone, and I was telling you about the Book of Negroes, and I suggest that all of us up in here watch, if you have
It's
not
a
seen
video, Book of
the
Negroes.
Book of Negroes, if you have not watched the Book of Negroes, please watch it. It is one of the greatest history lessons and love story that you will get about us, black people, and how we came here, how we started getting, how we were accosted by our own people.
Oh, yeah.
You know, how the Africans would come and steal us. And,
Oh, yeah.
all right.
I remember.
Yeah, we're back. So we're in the studio talking about the Book of Negroes, because I was telling them that one of the best ways to learn about African American history or Black history or however you want to call it, check out that movie. It's a 6-series movie. You can buy it at Walmart or
It's a miniseries.
It's a miniseries.
It's called the Book of Negroes.
That's right. It's called the Book of Negroes, and I'm gonna tell you, it is riveting, but it is so full of information to give you some idea of how black people were brought to this country, how we were slaves, how we had some opportunities to be able to leave this country and do some other things because of the British. The British told us that if we would fight with the British against the rebels, and this is before the Emancipation Proclamation. This is back in 1776 when the British and the rebels were fighting. And this is during a time when they were really bringing us over here to this country in boatloads.
Yeah, but before it became illegal to do so.
Right, before, yeah.
Well, also keep in mind that and during that time, that's when the 3/5 Compromise came into being.
Oh, yeah,
that's
definitely.
right. Let's
Because
talk about that.
That
then. Go
3/5
ahead, Joy.
Compromise came into being simply because you had the southern and your upper level of colonists. Now remember, you had two sets of Europeans here. The first ones came in 1607 under the blessings of England.
Right.
And then you had those who came much later, 1621, that we often reference to as the Puritans, who came for the freedom of religion. But between that time of 1607 and 1621, 1619 happened.
Yes.
And that's when the slaves started coming in from the Portugal ship of man of war.
To Bryce Island.
And in order for them to come together with a powerful enough force to contest England, Now, when we're talking about 1607, 1619, 1621, by that time, their relationships had come together, and there was a lot of bargaining and economics growing, thriving, particularly in the South where the slaves were. And so England was taxing them to the point they said, you know what, they're not giving us anything to even live off of. And they rebelled. That's what the revolution was about.
That's right.
That was about them declaring their independence there.
Yeah.
So in 1766, in order for them to come together as a United States, they had to compromise because the Northerners said, you know, we don't want this slavery as a part of us. And it became a taxation where they took the 3/5, so we don't count it as a whole person.
Well, the thing about the North.
And that, but that was a
the-
compromise in order for
but
them to come together
the
as
thing-
one.
And it became a
but wait a minute,
standard,
wait a
it
minute.
became a
But
standard
the
of how
thing-
black people were looked upon.
Yeah,
from
but
that day
but the
forward.
thing about the North, which was different from the South, and that is that even though the North said that they weren't in you know, they didn't do slaves, but that wasn't really the truth, because what could happen is that you could be a slave and want to have, you know, you come to the North and you meet some white person and you go work for them, okay, because they fed you and they gave you lodging. They had you as a slave to work off that lodging and whatever it was that they gave
Right,
you.
then
Well,
you
you
became
had
a
to work
bond-
off
but
of
then
that.
you became a bond slave. And
Right.
there brings another good book to mind, 12 Years a Slave.
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
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 That was a great term. Yeah, and
Yes.
keep in mind that even during that time in the Northern area, you also had blacks who owned slaves as well.
Absolutely,
Of course.
but you know,
But
one
the
of the
intent
things.
was not to profit and to keep you in bondage. They were operating on certain other principles.
Yes.
But the Southerners, that was their way of life.
Yes, it was.
That was their way of life.
And another thing I want to address that I talked to you about, one of the things I want to address is black women and having babies by all different kinds of daddies.
Well,
Tell us how that came
you know, it's
about.
impacting us on today because, you know, after 45 years of that type of indoctrination, it sort of gets in your DNA.
Yes.
And
Not
it
sort of, it gets into your DNA.
It gets into your behavior.
Yes.
You know, when I went down to New Orleans, because that's my hometown, and I always go on a tour when I go, and I learned that there used to be what is called a traveling form, a rental form, and I was saying a traveling rental form, and the tour guide was explaining that they would take women, a bunch, and they would rent them for a year.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I lived in New Orleans. I never heard this before. And they would rent it for a year, and they would take women who were known to be breeders,
Right.
fast breeders, and they would rent them for a year. I know, Christoph, you're looking at me real strange, but no, that was
There's a whole lot to that, too,
12
yeah.
months, and it would allow enough time for the woman to get pregnant, to leave the baby to the care of wet nurses, heal, and move on to the next farm. And while I was standing there on Rampart Street in New Orleans, listening to this, I said, I never heard this. And it was some Caucasian women who were crying. They said, you know, we never did anything like this. You're lying. She said, well, I'm in New Orleans. You can check them. She said, we got the records here. She said, that's what we did here in New Orleans. She said, it's part of our history. She said, and even though we don't discuss it, she said it's important for us to know that. Because there's a lot of repenting and there's a lot of truth that needs to be told, because these are things that's going on now, and because we're not talking about the story, we can't get to the healing. We can't get to the healing that we need.
Thank you.
And so
That's
what
right.
it was, it became a situation where, you know, in what was it, 1812, that's when it became illegal to have the ships come in. But we do know the slave ships came in, it was documented all the way up to 1858.
Right.
Hello, so we're looking at Africans who probably had only 5 years.
And that's when they started making those horrific ships, when they bombed out all of those castells that they were, because when you have the portage was from the Ivory Coast almost, over there, right? And then they dropped the Africans off in the Caribbean, where they stripped them of their humanity. They beat them and everything, and then they brought them to America.
Well,
when
actually-
Europe, I'm just giving a short form of it. When Europe abolished slavery, they blew up all of those ports where slaves were stopping off to be stripped of their humanity
Well, but-
before they were put on a
But wait a
sponsor.
minute,
But you know-
wait.
It's a short
The
story. 'cause it's a long
European,
story, so
but
I'm
wait
not
a
trying to
minute,
get too
Joe.
far into it.
It's the Europeans, the abolitionists, the European abolitionists
Yes, please,
who
let's put it on.
voted the slave that those slave ships could no longer come into Europe anymore. It was the abolitionists who did it because of a black woman telling of her experience. She was a slave and became a free woman. And they interviewed her when they were taking the vote on whether or not if they should, it should make slave ships coming into their ports or them, allowing slave ships to pass through their ports. They had a black woman who was a slave and she became a free woman and she told them of their experience, and the abolitionists convinced Parliament to vote those ships being illegal.
Right.
But
And so that's how they stopped them.
Oh, yes. Well, I was given the short form on that one.
My question
Yeah.
is, and who was in charge of bringing these people from Africa here? Was it a government? Was it
Well,
individuals?
before
Was it-
slavery was before the international slave trade was abolished, it was well known from one seaside to the next that slavery was okay. But once it was abolished, it became illegal to
Well,
transport
wait a
slavery.
minute. To answer your question.
I'm trying to tell them.
Well,
Let me take my route.
Well, wait a minute.
Okay, and
Wait a
I wanna
minute.
get
Wait,
into
wait,
it.
wait,
Don't fight
hold.
over the question.
Hold up.
It was illegal.
So-
Who is a good question because you had a lot of different ships that were bringing slaves to America illegally.
I understand.
Yeah,
was it
but it
individual?
wasn't-
Was it
it
a
was-
black market?
No.
Or the government knew about it?
No.
No.
No, what do you mean,
That's
which
my
government?
question.
Which government? This government here?
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
I
Or any
understand his
government.
question.
Wait a minute.
Her question.
Let her talk.
His question was who was responsible?
Who was organizing?
And organizing this? This was illegal. See, slavery was legal. And it
Legal
was
or
legally,
illegal?
and it was constitutionally legally.
That's right.
It was
Well, I'm talking about-
constitutionally legal.
But let her finish.
And this is interesting, and this is why the story has to get out. Because so many of us are taking opinions and thoughts and stories from other people without actually doing any research
That's
and
right.
finding it out. And so Spirit has called me to be able to speak on this, not in a bitter way, not in a condemning way, but it is a matter of truth and fact as it actually did happen. And that in order for us to heal, we've got to be able to build up enough courage to look at these things, understanding that this is not a legacy that we want to continue with our children, that this is
Right.
an important educational tool that needs to be taught in every school, every church, every community organization, in order to stop this violence and this hatred of even the statement saying I'm a man. When you have to say I'm a man, and that's the
And we can look at you and see you a man.
or either say Black Lives Matter. It's because something deep is in this country and it has to be put to rest.
Yes.
The Emancipation Proclamation
Why
put
do
that.
we have to say Black Lives Matter? Every life
But,
matters. Of
well,
course it matters.
but-
It's automatically it's that it's matter.
But
But
once upon a
see,
time,
first
You're
of all,
still speaking from somebody who wasn't born. here.
right, and not
Well,
only
it doesn't
that,
matter. I'm
No,
yes it
actually
does,
it
yes it
does.
does, yes
Actually
it
it
does.
does.
First
It
of all, what you gotta understand, Christoph, you're a white man. You're a white man in America.
Surprise!
And I just gotta bring it
Levity.
down where it
No, I'm not a
is.
white man.
No,
You know what they
no,
call me?
listen to me. Just hear me out.
Okay, go ahead.
Because you're not a Jew. You're a white man.
Okay.
If you were Jewish, then we could have that conversation. But you are a Greek man, so they consider you to be a white man. And being a white man in this country, you can travel freely. You don't have to worry about nobody stopping you because of your color or the way you look. Black men have to constantly, day in and day out, convince white cops, black cops, that they are a man and to treat me like a man. Those men get treated like boys. They get even called boys. You don't know the hell that black men go through and black women go through just to live in this country. You may think that we're complaining. You may think that our story isn't valid. But until you get into the history until you get into the history of how we came here and all the things we've been through. Because see, no Greek woman was ever brought to America and used as a sex slave. Slave women were used as sex slaves. That's one of the main reasons why you got women today who have babies by every Tom, Dick, and Harry, because it's in our genes, it's in our genealogy. Okay, it came from slavery, where the master, he could have his way with you any old kind of way, when he wanted to, how he wanted to, and you bet not say nothing, because he'll take you out in the yard. If he don't beat you half to death, he'll shoot you. So the thing is when you start asking those questions about slavery, the best way to understand it, and this is a fault of America, they do not teach African American history the way it should be taught. Because if they did, then you'll understand why we're here and we're talking about it and we're telling about it, not in a hateful way, but just in a way so people can understand. They can understand where we're coming from.
Can I interject that?
Yes, you can.
Afro-American history, but we have not been included in American history.
That's right.
That is what has been omitted.
And whose fault is that? Why
And
it
whose
doesn't
fault
happen?
is that?
The educators?
No.
Well, the
Joy
educators,
answered
they
that
didn't
question.
even, the educators don't even know that. One of the things.
Is it politics? What is it?
What it is, it's called good covering, hiding, hidden. But that's the wonderful thing about today. It's a wonderful thing that we have programs like Jamaica Funk and communications and people are reading, because it is important for us to get the message out that we are free. And the goal of the Emancipation Proclamation for us was for us to have the opportunity to go for actual freedom. When our ancestors were liberated, that was the very first time that America had a confession that she had slaves. Because you will not find that in the Constitution. That was the difficulty and the challenge that Abraham Lincoln had. How do you exercise your presidential powers on something that's not there? So he crafted a way, and he realized that we were there under the head of stock, cattle, the cotton. We were human property. And at a time of war, when you have a rebel or the enemy is against you, you have a right to confiscate the property of the enemy.
That's right.
And that was the very first time, Christoph, that was admitted. And because this was not something that even people, but the wise people and government heads knew about what was going on, because they were profiting on the King Cotton industry from the South.
Of course.
But the Emancipation Proclamation, I really wanted to be understood that it brought a revelation to this country and to the world, because they could not approach this without the Christ mind, of the one mind of the man. And by the way, Abraham Lincoln did not declare any religion. He was a person who was led by his consciousness. And he says, if my name ever goes into history, it will be for this act, and my whole soul is into it, which we know he eventually died. But this is so important for us to understand, that we've got to put this on the table, because when foreigners come in from all over the world and pass Ellis Island, and they see that Statue of Liberty, and they said, wow, I'm in the land of the free and the home of the braves, and I'm free. They don't realize that that Statue of Liberty was a gift to America that was saying, thank you, because now you're true to your word. The 13th Amendment came, KT, that abolished slavery. And the only way that could have happened was from the Emancipation Proclamation, because you can't abolish something that's not expressed or written.
Okay, but as far as what I understand, a black man is still not a free man.
Actually,
America
America is not free.
Amen. Every
is not free.
American, every American, and I want all you listeners out there, I don't care what your color is, if you are an American, you have what is called an original birth certificate. On that original birth certificate, you have a stock certificate.
Black history.
You are a maritime corporation. The reason why you are a maritime corporation is because you are born of the water. Your body was submerged in a womb of water in your mama's body. So they call that womb, the water in that womb, a maritime corporation. So when you get your bank statements or you get your taxes back, anything dealing with government, your name is in all capital letters. The only names they put in all capital letters are corporations, and you are a maritime corporation. Check it out.
Check it out.
Google that one, people. Google it.
that.
Check it out.
Check it out. And don't forget neighborshipofjoy@gmail.com for understanding the Emancipation
Amen.
Proclamation.
Say that again. Say that
That's
again.
right.
Joy at where?
Neighborshipofjoy@gmail.com.
Yes,
For
ma'am.
your
That's
understanding the
right.
Emancipation Proclamation. Time to wake up, people.
Listen, I'm going
And
to tell
let the
you.
good times roll in the right way.
So what can people do when we say, I hear that all over the world, wake up people, wake up people. Because every country has a problem.
Exactly.
Yes.
So when we tell the masses, wake up people, what do we really mean?
Well,
I
we're
see that
telling
in Greece,
them-
they have problems.
We're telling people, the reason why we say wake up is because many Americans, see, this is one of the most arrogantest countries on the planet. We are arrogant.
They got more
we go,
problems
thank you.
than everybody.
When we go to any country an American goes to, we think automatically you should speak our language.
Exactly.
We don't take the time to learn your language because we're coming to your country. Oh, hell no. We come there and we think you supposed to speak our language.
And that's where
Who
you
the
get
hell
that
are we?
and it's been going on
Yes.
that way for so very many
We
years
are a
and
very-
decades. Do you know that people in other countries are falling over their tongues trying to learn English?
And we don't.
And
We
one
don't.
of the things I want to address is, as he's saying, wake up. Because when I say wake up, I'm speaking from the awareness that I have come to know.
Yeah, but
And
are
that
they
is the big
supposed to do
difference.
anything though with
Well,
the waking up?
waking up, and that is one thing.
What they supposed to do?
Number
Letter,
one,
letter.
let the Emancipation Proclamation be an educational tool for the healing that is needed in this country, in the healing evolution towards our actual freedom, under the law of the United States Constitution. Right now, it's not on the table. So right now, we're hoping that the listeners will start putting this conversation on the table.
I want to have a
Because-
copy of that.
Because we as a people, we get angry and we get frustrated, but you know what? We got to go back to the old landmark. We got to go back to the principles of freedom, the principles of justice, and the principles of pursuit of happiness and having some joy in your life. And one of the things that our community has not been able to come above the pains and the sufferings that we've had because the truth has not been presented to them in a way that they can embrace it and rise being empowered. Not to condemn anybody, but to say, I get you.
But
You're
see,
not holding me down
the
anymore.
reason we don't get the truth, because the truth is going to make a whole lot of people understand what is going on in this country.
And uncomfortable too.
And that's right. That's
When
right.
I was opening up Christos First,
Mm-hmm.
I had a gentleman come in and put it.
We caught that drop.
Yeah. No.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
He came in to put a new door on the store.
Mm-hmm.
And the gentleman that came in to put the door fell. And I said to him, it's a new door. I don't want a door that it's fallen. Take it back and get another one. And he got his boss, he went back and he got his boss calling me. And this happened when we had the work with Iraq. Now his boss calls me, he doesn't know me at all. And I tell him the story, what happened with the door, and his boss tells me, I'm quoting, "This is not Iraq." I'm like, what? Where does that come from? Just
Right.
because I have an accent, he thought I'm from Iraq or something?
Well, that's the
No.
ignorance of a lot of Americans.
No, he was letting you know that, he probably felt some kind of way because you sent the door back,
Yeah.
because the guy dropped the door, but that's your right. You paying for it. You're a
Exactly.
customer.
Right.
You have every right to send it
And
back.
That's just
That's the arrogance here in this
of
country.
a lot of Americans.
Right.
A lot of Americans.
And you're gonna always have that. That's the
Yeah.
thing. You're gonna always have that. And my purpose is to speak and to bring this so that we can bring the level down, to bring those kind of things down, because number one, I'm a mother and I'm also a grandmother. And I realize that the clock is ticking. And as a former Black Panther, Black Muslim,
Whoa.
She was a radical person.
battered mother, battered woman, and now a minister. You know, the teachings of Christ, and I've also studied metaphysical. I realize that all of these things are just obstacles and challenges of life. And then when we're able to embrace these things and just rise above them, it is imperative that we as a people do. Because right now, our educational system is not addressing the needs of our children, and it's not relevant.
And that's
It's
all
not
children.
relevant.
And that's when
That's
we
all
say that,
children.
that's what Christos, when we're saying that Black history hasn't been taught. Sure, there are some references to Black history in books today that I didn't get taught when I was in grade school and high school. But it wasn't until most kids, and I'm talking about Black, white, all of them, it's not from the 70s and the 80s, they had to go to college and find certain books in the college libraries to find out about the real history of Black people. And that's where you get all of these kids and get angry and upset because they're like, why didn't you tell me sooner? Why aren't these books available to us as children? Because when you spoon feed the history of Black America, African American, slavery, whatever, to children, as they grow older, then they understand, okay, and they don't have all that anger behind it. But when you learn it all at one time, when you're 17 years old, you're gonna be angry.
Can I make a suggestion?
Yeah.
Okay. You just said that you were 17, 18 years old when you just found something in our history, in this great country we live in.
Yes, this wonderful
You're right.
country
Yes,
we live
yes,
in.
yes.
So,
Thank you, be grateful.
my suggestion is, when you've seen this, a little bit of a history from the Black slavery, have you ever seen any history about the American Indian, the original? Why don't we?
Well, wait a
Well,
minute,
that's-
wait a minute,
Why
hold
don't
up.
we get together with them
Hold up.
and
Well, no, let me
Wait a
finish,
minute.
let me
No,
finish.
I'm where he is.
Are you?
Let me explain something to you.
I'm-
As a matter of fact, I may not even be able to address it the way I need to,
Okay.
because we got 2 minutes,
Okay.
and my technician,
That's
my
a long
engineer
answer.
over there is letting me know. However,
She's making a
let
sound.
me just say this.
Yes.
The American Indian owned this country.
Okay.
And the white man came into this country and stole this country from the American Indian. Oh, I'm gonna just tell you where it
You
is.
didn't
Wait,
know
hold up. Hold up.
What
Wait
did
a
I
minute.
say?
Let me
No, just
and-
kidding.
And not only did he steal this country from the American Indian, but he stole their culture from them by taking their children, forcing their children to go to white schools and learn about white men and forget about, they weren't even allowed to speak their own language in their schools. So they stole,
What are they now?
what they did was they stole their history from them. And that's the reason why you got so many impoverished American Indians on reservations who are alcoholics, drunks, drug addicts, and all types of stuff, only because of what this country did
So
to the
why-
American Indian. Wait a minute. We're going to come back,
Okay.
and we're going to have the rest of this conversation. We ain't through yet.
Well, hold on.
Listen, if you guys out there want to get in on this conversation, because
What about
it's
my
heated up in here.
Call
It's heated.
312-754-4333. That's the Jamaica Funk Show right here on UBM Talk.
Well, I remind
I thought you were going to make this interesting, didn't
All right, I'm just going to show you guys this bookmark that she's passing out to us.
Here it is.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
And
a bookmark.
it
It's
says,
a bookmark.
educate, entertain, encourage, emancipate, and evolve. And you know what? There was another book that I wanted to bring up. It's called 500 Nations. 500 nations of Indians actually lived on this continent
That's right.
prior to Plymouth Rock, prior to Christopher Columbus.
Christopher Columbus. There were black folks here
Yeah.
before Christopher Columbus came to this country.
Yeah, but when you think about 500 nations of Indians, all from Rhode Island or whichever one is the top state here in America, down to South America.
Montana, Oregon.
But I'm just saying, down to South America,
Yes.
that a whole entire East Coast was cleansed. It was cleansed of the indigenous population.
Yes.
Before the first Spanish ships, and let's be real clear about that, came to America.
The Pina, the
Yeah.
Nina, and the
Santa Maria, right? There's 100 years worth of cleansing going on before anybody came to America. So why don't you share that with us, Joy?
Pardon me,
Because we're still periscoping, in case y'all forgot.
Why don't you share what? Oh, that's okay. Close your eyes and shut your mouth. Just open your mouth and talk.
Because we still have viewers listening in and looking
Yeah.
in on the conversation.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Yes,
we're
ma'am.
live. We're
Yes,
live.
ma'am.
Oh,
We'll still
stop it.
live
Now we
stream.
can.
Yeah. So please go on and continue where you left off.
Well, you were talking to Christoph.
About with
well,
Christos.
you know,
Yeah.
well, let me show you what Christos and I were discussing. One of the things, you know, every month I do third Sunday, and one of the things I was showing him was that the North and the South both serve the same God
so they can see you.
and the Bible, and yet they were saying God was on our side. And the unique thing about Abraham Lincoln, he says, I know the North saying that God's on their side, South saying God is on their side. He said, I want to know if I'm on the God, am I on God's side?
Well-
He said, and the reason why, he says, I know that God is on the slave side.
Yeah, no, we want you to come in front of the camera.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
in
people
front of-
can see
You're
you as you
standing behind
speak.
the camera talking.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, go
that's
right
camera
ahead.
there. Right.
Well, everybody's seen the pamphlet, and
Yeah.
go ahead, continue what you were
Yeah,
saying.
and so it's very important for us to even bring the churches.
Well, another thing.
Address it, because you see,
Why are you bringing it to churches? I think that's another issue that needs to be addressed. The churches
One of
and the black
one of the
people and
things-
information.
One of the things we have to address is that, you see, when we were coming over here from Africa, a lot of us were Muslims. Wait, just listen. A lot of us were Africans. We were, not African. We were Muslims. There was no such thing as Christianity coming from Africa.
No.
And one of the things that they did when we came here is they stopped us from praying to the gods that we prayed to, or praying.
Right, we were
in which
heathens to them. Yeah.
Well, they were afraid.
Well,
They were afraid because they didn't know whether or not if we were going to cast a spell on them or not.
it's true, and they
And
wanted
so-
to get that indoctrination in.
That's right. So they were under the impression that we were going to cast spells and what have you, because we weren't spiritual people.
we were very
And
spiritual people.
and one of the things that was brought out in the book of Negroes was that we didn't get a Bible until we came to America. We're back on the air. Woo!
Girl, keep talking now.
All right.
All right.
Keep on talking.
That's amazing when the music comes on, everybody just goes.
So it is hot in here, and I don't just mean the temperature, but I mean the climate of the human population up here in this studio. If anybody out there who wants to call in and share your opinion on slavery, Emancipation Proclamation, you can do so at 312-754-4333. And our phones are finally working, guys, so please hit us up. You know, be nice. Call a sister and tell her you're listening, if nothing else. So, but anyways, getting back to the Indians, Christoph, the Indians, you know, they actually annihilated the majority of the Indians in the U.S.
Well, is that written on the American history?
Yes, it is. Actually, there's a book, like I was saying, there's a book called, it's titled, and I taught this in a 5th grade grammar school when I was teaching. It's called 500 Nations. Write that down.
Mm-hmm.
The name of the book is called 500 Nations, and that is how many nations were destroyed before the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria.
Nations of Indians.
That's right.
Of
They were
American
pushed
Indian, not
back.
indigenous.
Those
They were
Indians-
American Indians,
They
not
were
indigenous.
Indians, and they were pushed back off the shoreline by
That's
the
right.
soldiers, by Spanish soldiers,
That's right.
before anybody even came here.
I have another question.
Yes, what's your question?
Okay, the question is, would you call that, what happened to American Indians, would you call it genocide, or you call it, what did the Germans did to the Jews, Holocaust? What is it, genocide? What's the difference between genocide and Holocaust?
Well, genocide happens all at one time.
And Holocaust is what?
It happens over a period
Over,
of time.
right.
And it destroys the entire,
Meaning-
well, when you think about the Holocaust and the Jews in particular, it took the Germans, if I got my numbers right, in 6 years, they killed 6 million Jews. That's part of the history that was written, that we were taught. That doesn't mean that I'm right, but a Holocaust means that, you know, the plan is to destroy an entire nation of people.
What I think is
And
the
what's a
difference,
genocide?
what I think is the difference between, what I think is the difference between genocide and Holocaust.
Yes,
We know about them.
Right.
okay.
There you go.
We know about
I
them.
think it's a label.
We know about
Oh, yes,
them.
and
You
I
see,
think
no,
it's a
listen,
label. There were
no,
20 million
no.
Russians killed.
No,
What do
listen.
you call them?
Listen.
What do you call
And
that?
that was the Holocaust.
Okay.
That was the Holocaust.
But nobody
but-
talks about it.
No, that's a lie.
People do talk
That's a
about it
lie.
all over the place.
It's in the
What did
history
you see?
books.
What in history books?
Wait a minute.
Well,
It's in
listen.
the history books. It's not only in the history books, but it's been filmed many of times. And not only that, but it happened recently. What we're talking about started hundreds of years ago, and it's still going on to this day.
Yeah.
The one thing about the Holocaust, it ain't happening right now.
Right.
See, it started in the 40s,
Right.
okay, and it ended in the
It
70s.
started in the 30s because they had to build all of those horrible
Well,
places where they.
well,
But it
I'm
started in
saying-
the 30s, and the Holocaust happened so gradually that by the time it reached America, we were in the last 4 or 5 years of the war over there. But trust me, people knew about it. They just weren't saying anything.
America, but the thing is it's written. It's
And then when it
written.
was,
It's
and then when it
written
was
and it's taught.
publicized after World War II, after World War II, and they found out what the Germans actually did, a lot of Americans, a majority of them, did not want to believe that people could
Well,
be
and not only that, but they went over there. Here's the
Okay.
deal. Wait a
What
minute.
about-
Wait a
I
minute.
have
Listen.
another
No. Before you ask your question, let me
Yes.
say this. The one thing about the Jews were given reparations. They were given reparations.
Right.
Matter of fact, the Swedish government, that when because they had their money and their gold and stuff, the Germans had put it in the Swedish banks.
Yeah.
They had to return that stuff to the Jews. You tell me what they returned back to the black people, or for that matter, the American Indians. What have they given us back? They haven't even given us reparations, and we're the ones that built the White House. We built this country.
But they
And
give
we're
you
not being
promises,
angry
no.
about this, but KT is on the roll, and the reality is we were supposed to get 40 acres and a mule.
How many of us got 40 acres and a mule?
I don't
And
know.
what
but
about-
that's what they said was going
Please.
to happen.
What
In
about
any
the,
event,
We didn't get 40 acres and a mule.
Trust
If that
me.
wasn't going on.
If
Right,
that
you
was
gotta-
going on, there'd be a lot more people living in Montana, Utah, and
You gotta
Wyoming.
promise
It'd be a lot more black folks with food.
Right.
What
Okay.
about the Ottoman Empire? They killed over 1 million
Who?
Armenians, the
Who?
Turks. They
I-
killed
I-
over 1 million
well,
Armenians.
you're reaching
now
back
you
in
see,
history
now
now.
see, you can,
1922.
but wait a minute, did they do it here in America?
No, they did it in Europe.
Okay, so we're speaking about the American government. Now, I don't know about the Turks
No, I thought we were
because
talking about
that's Turkish history. And that would be taught in Turkish country.
No,
but we're
understand.
talking about black history in America.
Thank you.
I understand, but you.
Devil's advocate.
No.
Well, no, it's
What she
Emancipation
said.
Proclamation. I'm gonna speak on that because I think the Holocaust and the genocide and even the term as
Bring the mic to you now.
the mic to my.
Yeah, so we.
There you go.
There you go.
Oh, you can't.
Just pull it down. Pull it
Yeah,
down.
I
There you go.
Speak for
Yeah.
you.
I believe that the word Holocaust and genocide and all the conversation, we didn't mention the Ma'afa, which all really basically means the same thing. It's just a matter of language. I have to stand very firmly that these are all things that have come about as humanity is searching for themselves and understanding that there is no superiority of any people, that we're all from one family. And it is very difficult for those who have been in power to come to that. But that's what this part of America is all about. And so this is the challenge that we have for actual freedom, to be able to create the model society and the model government that will be a candle, so, a light for all. And we and another thing too, I am from New Orleans. I have to keep saying it. I don't know how to call myself other than an emancipated American because I have so many bloods in me. I'm not the people that came across the ship, but I'm so
Okay.
grateful to God for those people, and I reverence them.
Now, why do we do that to ourselves?
Why do we do this to ourselves?
Yeah, we're all humans.
Because number one, we have not learned how to love ourselves just for who we are, because we're still lost into the knowledge of who
It's
we
called
are.
a fear and lack of understanding,
And
sweetheart.
ignorance of
And
your own
that's
power.
what I said, fear and lack of understanding.
And let's not forget, we have made ourselves our own God. And whatever comes out of our minds comes out of our mouths. And we think it's the best thing that ever happened, and nobody can tell us it's right or wrong.
And
Okay,
when we
can
come
I-
out of our mouth, that is what we build on. And that is what
Yes.
is
I would like
Yes.
to explain what do I think about humans.
humans. Okay.
Okay, what do you think about humans?
Yeah, what do you think about
Um,
that?
And this is Christoph's thoughts.
This is,
Yes,
well,
please.
no, this is not the original. I have something else for that.
But
But
tell us,
it's
but
fine.
tell us.
A human brain, if you really think about it, it's a piece of meat, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because if a wolf or a bear sees it in the mountains, we'll eat it,
Absolutely.
right?
Yes.
Okay. And look, that piece of meat, how many functions it does every split second to our body, to our thoughts, to distraction, to love. Okay? Now, let's take a car. You start the car and look at this noise that makes. But a human being with all these thoughts and energy we have, you don't hear a thing. I call that masterpiece from God. We're all masterpiece from God.
Yes, we are.
Right?
Yes, we are.
So let's live with love one another and stop of saying, I'm better than you, or I win and you lose. There is no such thing.
Christoph,
If I keep
Christoph.
on losing, I got nothing to give you
Christoph,
anymore.
it sounds good, but you're a flower child.
No, he's a philosopher.
He's a flower child. He's a he's a 1960s hippie flower
And
child.
there's
No,
nothing
no,
wrong with
if
that
you-
because
if you
they
read my
are the
book,
ones who
you
were
won't see- you won't say that.
protesting as well as loving at the same time.
Read this book and you won't say that.
Yeah, right. I read your book.
I'm with Christo. I'm with Christo. The message got to be there, and that's the challenge that we have as the people who have been damaged and hurt so badly for so many centuries
Yeah.
to rise above. But when we look at the state of our children and our communities, we realize that the frustration and the anger and the unforgiveness is just creating a very, very sad state of affairs for ourselves. And what I'm saying to you is that I agree with you. Once we can embrace the humanity of each other that is in each one of us, and we are able to grant our children our legacy of the same empowerment, that things will get better in time. This state of affairs didn't get like this
Well,
overnight.
I think that nothing will get better in time unless everybody has a job.
Yes.
They can raise their family
Yes,
properly.
they can eat.
Yes, they don't need cameras. We're not animals to be watched 24/7.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Say that
I agree.
again.
They need jobs.
Now
Oh,
that's some real
All right,
thoughts.
some real
Yes, it
stuff.
is.
That's some real thoughts.
Get on the roll now, Dale. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
no, I like that. No, we're serious.
No,
We're
I'm
very
serious.
serious.
No.
And you watch
Totally
the 10
agree
o'clock
with
news in
you.
Chicago, it's the most disgusting thing you ever want to hear.
Yes, it
They
is.
come up on 10 o'clock, they say, okay, who killed who in the south side? 5 minutes. 2 minutes they giggle with each other. 5 minutes weather. 5 minutes sports. And who saved whose dog somewhere in the pond? And that's the 10 o'clock news.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then, oh, let's put more cameras in Chicago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't need more cameras. We need jobs. We
And we need food.
We
We
need
need
food.
lodging.
Shelter.
Thank you.
They need some place for the poor people to go because there's a whole bunch of them still living underneath
Or
the
just
line
get,
up,
or
job.
just
underneath
get,
the street.
or just give
Hold
the
on,
poor,
hold on.
or just give the poor people a job. Give them
Right.
a job.
Right.
There is no such thing poor people in America.
And
It
but
should
you-
be jobs.
And you know, and
Open
therein
factories here.
therein where
I
the
agree.
government comes in says, and most people who don't have a place to live, whatever, will tell you, I can't get because I don't have an address.
Joe, would you like to do lesson number 19
Oh.
from how to publish your or self-publish your book?
I really would, but I'm manning the camera, so that means somebody has to get behind the
Which camera is that? Christoph?
This is Christos. He's
Okay,
broadcasting.
Christoph, give me.
Christos, you are gonna have to get behind your
let's
own
get-
camera.
Oh, I am? Okay.
I have to say bye-bye to my partner here.
No, Christoph is cool. He can sit there. We're gonna get your husband to do it.
I want to say something right
Go
before you do
ahead,
that.
go ahead.
In every country, first of all, governments have no soul. No government cares for its
They don't.
people.
No, they don't.
No matter what country you live in. And in every country, all the corporations take the jobs out of the
Come on
country,
in.
and they leave the standards in their own country.
Mm-hmm. Come around this way. But go, you know,
Or Joe, she's got.
that's the beautiful part about our government. They're so full of themselves, they think they're right 100% of the time.
Just go around where she
Just-
is.
yeah. And I don't know where I'm gonna stand,
Thanks,
but
Ricky.
I'm gonna find my.
Come on over here. Come on over here.
We'll switch mics around.
Yeah, just give Christoph
just-
yours.
just-
Christoph, you give Joy yours, and here you go, Joe.
Okay.
You can come on over
There you go.
here.
There we go.
Yes. Yeah, so we can get
It
Joe's
gets tight in here.
Lesson 19.
lesson 19 in.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
That's rolling, baby doll.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Just so everybody knows, I messed around and brought my own set of headphones today.
I got some in the car. I just forget to bring mine.
I
in.
wonder if she got
I was like,
color.
oh, I remember
She's
my
got
big
red on.
headphones. Now, your husband is live streaming Periscope, and we're live streaming Periscope. And welcome to Joe's Poetry, excerpts from my resume. And tonight is lesson number 19. And I actually have quite a few notes on lesson number 19. Because it's important. Because the further into writing your book and the waiting of it, remember last week we were waiting for people to bring it back from the editor, and we were waiting for everybody to put in their 2 cents on your book. You'd be surprised how many people can get involved with you writing your book. But here's the first thing you want to think about: your first performance. Your first performance. It could be in the form of going to the library
So when you stand in
and, you
front
know,
of it, they
just
can't
being
see.
amongst other authors like yourself, you know, and you're bringing in your, well, not your book because you don't have it yet, but let's say you got pens, cups, fobs for the keychain. Maybe you have T-shirts or bags. You've taken that one little logo of yours and you pressed it on everything, and now you got to take it out to the world to see. So that's what you're going to do in your first performance. You're gonna sit there and you're going to recite something from it. You know, give people little teasers right up there, up close and personal, and give them something to look at. So that is your first chance to promote your book, yourself, your brand, your logo. And then when you get there,
Okay.
let's think about setting up that table. You don't want to throw everything over on that table like, I got this, I got that, and I got the other. Because I've seen some tables that were just like a hot mess.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and so take some time, think about what you want to put out. Don't put everything out at one time. You want to draw in the eye of the person, because people are going to come around and they're only going to stop at the ones that make sense to them. So keep it simple, put your product out, big smile, and guess what? Have somebody with you to videotape it.
Yes.
Just have somebody,
Right.
and then just take some snippets of it. They don't have to have it on the entire time. Then that somebody, please make sure they have a steady hand. There's nothing worse than you sitting up there pouring your heart out, and you got this great big applause coming to you, and you look at the video later, and it's all shaky. And not because the anti-shake wasn't on, but because the person holding the camera was like, oh, that person, and make sure you do they clearly understand. Yeah, it's all about me. Put the camera on me and only on me.
You need to get like a mic stand and get the apparatus.
Yeah,
like
what I
that.
do when I have my performances, I not only do I have a mic stand, I have a stand for music that I put my work on. Because you can't always, remember everything that you wrote. All right, I'm a poet, and some of my pieces are very long. So if they're very long, I put those papers in front of me, and I may make it through the whole performance without looking at them, or I might just say, you know what, forget it. I'm just going to read from here, and I'm just going to wing it. And it's all about the performance. And be yourself. You're going to be sweaty. You're going to be nervous. But at the end of the day, that's your first performance, all right? And invite your friends, your family, and sell tickets. Get those flyers out there. Go the cheap route. Go to Staples. You don't have to spend a whole lot of money on your first performance.
Exactly.
Because if you only make $50 and you spent $100, guess how much money in the hole you are?
That's right.
$150.
That's right.
So don't spend any more than you think that you're going to. All right. Now, after that, have copies of your book to sell on your next performance. Bring in copies of your book. Is it on an MP3? All right, is it an ebook? Is it an audio book? All right, have a little bit of everything for somebody to choose from. Doesn't matter how much you've already ordered and have at your home. Don't bring everything you own to your performance. Just bring enough to sell to make people know that this is my stuff. All right, next thing you want to do is you want to remember your business cards. If you don't remember anything but your book and your business cards, you got something going there. So pass out your business cards to everybody. Remember I told you last week, buy your business cards. Don't let them just sit in the box.
Exactly.
Just pass them out. They don't think about what's going to happen to your business card once it's in that person's hand. The idea is to pass them out.
That's right.
Pass out those business cards. The next thing you want to do is you want to make sure you have money to make change for people who have cash. Yeah, we do live in a swiping kind of world, but there are people who still like to spend cash. So get your little cash together, get your swipe for your credit cards. I'm not going to tell you which ones, but there are apps that you can get for free where they will send you a free swipe. And so just keep the cost down.
And some of them you don't even need a square or
No, you
whatever
don't.
to
I'm
swipe
not,
it.
I'm
You
not
can
giving
swipe
nobody
it.
no free
You
advertising.
can swipe it from your phone.
Exactly.
Yes.
You can. There are apps where you can just have it right there on your phone. You don't have to swipe. You just do that.
Yeah.
All right. If nothing else, make connections by getting other business cards. All right. If a person comes up to you and they're like, oh, blah blah blah, and they're really genuinely interested, engage them in conversation. Find out who they are. Oh, do you have a business card? And if they say, oh, I would love you to do this, then get business cards. Make at least one more gig before you finish that last performance.
Yeah, they should not ask for business cards. I think they should say more delicate way. How can we get in touch in the future?
Well, of course, that goes.
That's how you tell.
I haven't gotten to the etiquette
Oh, sorry.
part, but I really do know how to do that. And just to be clear, what you're doing, because you're nervous. You're nervous, and people they're nervous, and you go, I don't even know what happened. So you're gonna have a video, you got business cards, you got the books, you got the logos, right? Then after that, just please, if nothing else, do not worry about how much you're going to get paid on your first performance, because it might be free. And you may not sell anything. You might not do anything, but what you will do is you will get yourself out there. People will see you, and they will remember you. And when you go to do it again, guess what? You are now building on your author resume. You can say, I performed at this place for that long, and I brought my books, and it was well taken by everyone, and I'd like to do it again. Right. So it might be your first performance, and you might not get paid, but the money will come.
So do you got a piece for us tonight?
I do have a piece for you.
What you got?
It is called, This Is What I Know About Being a Woman.
Ooh.
Uh-oh.
It is rather long,
Okay.
Well, you got 5 minutes. You got 5 whole big ones.
I do.
Mhm.
Hey, I might have to come for break on this one anyway. So this is what I know about being a woman. I was born female. That made me a woman. My mom called me her baby girl. That made me a woman. I'm a sister to my brothers, a mother to my daughter, and a wife to my husband. I'm a girlfriend, a hated enemy, counselor, mediator, and yeah, sometimes an instigator. That makes me a woman. When I was in the 5th grade, boys were interested in what was underneath girls' dresses. So they slid pieces of broken mirror between the laces of their gym shoes and made up excuses to stand close to me and my girlfriends at recess so they could look over in between our legs. And when we found out what they were doing, we hit them sharply on the backs of with the flat palm of our hands, and they would run away afraid of more reprisals from us. That gave me power like a woman. On the first day of middle school and the end of summer vacation, I wore my first bra and got my period. I decided to wear a scoop neck choker attached short sleeve top with a denim maxi skirt and platform sandals. I was new to my class, and when I entered, I met a bunch of strange faces just like me. But I was the only girl who decided to wear a long skirt, so I stood out. I felt different because all the other girls wore mini skirts or jeans. That made me feel like a woman. In high school, things changed. The dynamics of my life changed. I didn't have the same friends again. New teachers, new schools, new classes, new boys, new men, new attitudes. In one blazing moment, when we all sat together for the first time, you could smell it in the air. It was thick, as if we were all taking in deep breaths at the same time. You know, the sexual tension, the anticipation of the day, and then swoop. The door opened, and it was like a backdraft of air got sucked out of the room. You could see the fumes of air being sucked into our lungs as we put down his folder and pen and introduced himself. I'm Mr. Homeroom Teacher, fill in the blank. And from this day forward, you will be referred to as Mr. or Miss, whatever your last name is. That made me think of myself as a woman. So I fell in love with him in my senior year. He had his choice of girls, in my opinion. Our lockers were next to each other, had been for 2 years. We shared lunch and classes together, but he never really seemed to notice me until one day. I decided to wear my nicest pants, prettiest shoes, curled my hair tight, wore red lipstick and a big confident smile. I was determined to get him to see me as more than just this girl next to his locker. And when he stood next to me that day, I looked at him from the corner of my eye and gave him a smile and said, hi. It was the longest 5 seconds of my life, but that was the plan. Just give him a good long look at me and saunter away. In homeroom, he asked me for a pen, and I gave him one, and turned around as if not to notice him, but secretly hoping he would say something more than thanks. He turned back to me and asked if I was sitting with anyone at lunch. We sat together from that day on, became best friends. I was in love with him, my first love, my first lover, father of my first child, my first broken home. And that made me think like a woman. I'm 19 years old now, and I'm in City College. I'm a mom, an employee. I'm smoking weed, experimenting with coke. I've had 3 other lovers. I've got my own place. My baby's daddy has bailed on me with no reason why, and I'm alone and scared, with so much to do and no time to do anything with any real assurance of the outcome. But I'm the only one making decisions now. So I go with my gut and take chances. Some work out, the rest I still don't know. But every day is different, and I just keep moving, juggling my day and night, day after day. This makes me a woman. And from the day I got married to the husband I have today, to the children I bore in this marriage, to meals I've cooked, to diapers I've changed, the boo-boos I've kissed, teeth I've pulled, arguments I've adjudicated, tears I've cried, jobs I've held in my spare time, if that ever really existed, volunteer work, play dates, parties, nights out, lights out, day breaks, breakfasts, lunches, dinners, snacks, to vacations and lack of recreation, from paying bills and managing business deals, taping sports games, shopping for first shoes, first bras, first bags, and suits and coffins and flowers and baby showers, and more weddings and first gray hairs and retirement plans,
and long nights of rest and tossing and turning, and doctor's appointments, to healthcare professionals and laundry climbing up to my knees, when all I really wanted was to sit in a hot tub of water with bubbles, listening to my favorite tunes while holding my drink of choice with refills waiting, without someone knocking at the door asking for their shoes, sock, or just to pee. From the moment I entered this world and the doctor said, "It's a girl," that made me a woman. And I could go on, but it would be more of the same. The same days which bleed into each other, because as I live each day, I have to make decisions off the cuff that have nothing to do with the scheduled timetable of events that I charted in my calendar, of the things that I plan to do and the things I have to do every day. Not to be confused with the things that come up every day that require my immediate attention, and how I put most things on the back burner to simmer until the water's drained out. Because while I know how to juggle today, tomorrow, and right now, and when to take the pot off the fire and rescue the vestiges of my day, so I can wake up fresh the next morning and begin again, these things make me act like a woman. These are some of the things that have brought the woman out of me. The plethora of decisions I make daily don't define me. They personify me. So this is what I know, and I'm still here. And one day my daughter will read this and look at her life. And these words will not make her a woman, but they will make her look at the woman she will be.
All right.
Oh, wow.
Guys, we're going to take a break. Like I said, if you want to call in, 312-754-4333. You're listening to the Jamaica Funk Show. We'll be right back at you, like a bunch of women up in here. Oh, and a couple of men. So we'll see you in a few minutes. Well, Woo! I've done something with an earring of mine. I don't even know where my earring
I think,
is.
yeah, just pass it here. And Christos, you're back up, buddy. We like you on breaks.
Yes.
Thank y'all so much. I appreciate it.
That was excellent. That was really excellent. Thank you. What's his name?
Richard.
Richard.
Thank you, Richard.
Thank you, Richard. You know, I done seen Richard a bunch of times. I just
Right, didn't know who he was.
didn't know his name. No, I know who he is. I
didn't.
just didn't know his name.
Well,
I've done something with my earring. I don't know what I've done with it.
What kind of
What,
earring is
this
it?
one?
Oh, it's over here. I found it. It was on the floor. I picked it up. It's on the
Is it yours?
table.
Oh, yes, mine.
I found
You
it.
see
I
it?
found
Oh, she got it. She gave it to me. At
I'll
some
give
point.
it to you later.
Oh, you find it. Yeah, that's mine.
And now, ladies and
Gracias,
gentlemen,
senor.
the earring has been found.
I knew I had one. But it was truly kind of empty. It's like, well, wait a minute.
Go ahead.
No, are we going to talk about my thoughts or no?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Get
Oh,
started.
yeah, a few
Just get
minutes.
started.
Okay, my thoughts today are about weddings.
Speak up.
Weddings?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, what do you need?
He wants his piece of paper back.
Why, I thought you gave it to me.
Oh, man.
Yeah, you're streaming.
We're streaming live. You go right ahead and talk.
Give it to her.
Oh, for me?
Oh, okay. But go ahead. You want to talk about weddings?
Yeah, I want to talk about weddings.
You'd be surprised how many women want to talk about
Well,
weddings.
people don't call so fast because when the lines are lined up like Christmas trees, we're going to get you in order. So be
That's
patient.
right. That's right. There was a time that we had so much going on the show. There was so many people calling. We didn't get one call.
What is this about?
One call got in, and you know it just couldn't handle the rest of the calls. But why do you want to talk about weddings?
How to...
Because he wants to get married.
Do you want to get
Yeah, he want a
married?
wife. Christos is looking for a wife.
Are you looking
No,
for a
he's not.
wife?
She's
Yes,
gonna-
yes, he's looking for a wife.
No, she's going to find me.
Oh, I can see,
there
check
we
him
go.
out.
Okay, so what about your weddings? Come on now. What
Okay,
about
well,
weddings?
but I want to talk about the grand opening wedding, not the under new management weddings.
Oh, that's interesting.
Well, okay now. Well, come on with it.
Okay. First of all, they
Just now you're gonna have to wait a
You're gonna
second,
have
but
to
you're gonna
put
bring
your-
that in with Christoph's thoughts. Right after
Okay,
that.
we're back.
Put your headphones
and
on.
Christoph is giving us his thoughts on Not the, what kind of wedding was it?
Not the grand opening wedding, the under the new management wedding.
Okay, so, go on,
No,
Christoph.
I want to know which one you want to hear. I want to tell the grand opening.
Okay, well, tell the grand opening wedding.
Here he goes. These are my thoughts, people. You get invited to this wedding, and most likely the couple don't even know you. Probably their parents know you. So they invite you, they go register in the most expensive store. And you put your head down, you gotta go buy something because you're obligated, I guess. So you go buy, they register with China TVs, the most expensive things, so you buy those. Finally, the big day is coming, the grand opening. You walk into the hallway and you see ice sculptures, you see all kinds of flowers, and you're like, oh my God, I gotta pay for all this. And I'm saying, people, you wanna throw a big wedding with ice sculptures? Pay it yourself. And call everybody and say, guys, I'm getting married, it's all on me. Don't bring nothing. I'm celebrating my life, my future wife. Come in with your hands in your pockets. But instead, you gotta put an envelope in there. $400 or $500, depends how many sculptures they have. So, and if you're lucky, after the wedding, if the wedding lasts 3 years,
Oh, God.
okay?
Yes.
So if you're lucky, you get invited to the maybe it's a barbecue accidentally. Guess what? You walk into this house, they bring you paper plates. What happened to all the china and all the expensive stuff I bought?
Did you ask them?
I asked.
And what they say?
No answer.
Wow.
She says, I'm busy now. So, make a long story short, people. You eat, they say you come here at 3 o'clock. You're there at 3 o'clock, they bring you the paper plates, you eat, they bring you coffee, sweets. By 3:30, everybody's holding their belly. You get the hell out of there. She throws the paper plates away, she's done for the night. That's the party you're gonna go into. So what I'm trying to say is, people, when you get married, if you wanna be cool, pay for your own wedding and bring all your friends there for free. Don't let everybody pay for it and you're acting like you're having a wedding. What is that?
So which wedding is that?
American.
No, wait a minute. Which wedding is that, Christoph?
That's not an American.
That's un-American.
Well, hold on.
That's un-American.
Hold on. If I'm happy that I'm celebrating, I'm getting married, why do I need you to pay for it? Do I want to show off with your money?
That's you, because you came from Greece, so
No,
that's
no.
your,
Why you want
that's
to
your
show
Greek
off?
thoughts.
Why you want to show off with everybody else's money with 10
Because it's
ice
cheaper.
sculptures?
It's cheaper.
That's taking advantage of
Well, you
the
know what?
people.
That's his point, though. He said, if you ain't got no money for no wedding, why you making everybody pay for it?
If you have no
That's-
money, why you have 10 ice sculptures?
Because
over there?
that's the
And flowers
American
up to
way.
Kazoo?
Well, it's
That's the American
What he's
way,
saying
baby.
that's not the
Oh, well,
intelligence.
for
That
pay
is
for
the
it?
American way.
Well, Joy, what do you got to say about it?
Somebody's paying for it somewhere
No,
along the line.
see, that was a lie. That
Oh,
was a
yeah.
lie.
These two gonna go
yeah,
at it for the
you
rest
go
of the
to
show
school today,
now.
you'll get a free lunch. It may not be what you want to eat, but at least you will.
No, that's not free. Somebody paid for it somewhere along the line.
Somebody's paying for
So
it.
what's the other wedding?
As
Is
you
that
were speaking, I thought about a relative of mine, and she was so excited the other day. She says, "Oh my God, I finally paid for my wedding."
Oh, that's good.
How
She's
long
cool.
ago?
Hold on, okay.
How long ago was
Almost
that?
11 years.
what?
What is she in?
Really?
11 years to pay for a wedding? That is
All I did
insane.
is have let my mouth flow. Wow. Because
Yeah.
I knew that when I had attended the wedding, that it was quite elaborate. It was quite elaborate, you know. But
What I'm trying to say is this. If you want to show off,
yeah, that's your
show off with your own money.
with your own money. Mhm.
Right.
That
Don't
makes
come
sense.
and
It makes
act like
sense.
you got a ton of money and with everything that you're putting in the
But Christoph, it's usually the parents who come out with a ton of money. They invite all their friends who got a ton of money. That's the American way.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to tell you something.
Yes.
It is a knucklehead who go out and spend millions and millions of dollars on a wedding and it take them 11 years to pay for it. I mean, something wrong with that picture.
Yeah.
Something's
What
really wrong with
about
that picture.
those girls that now they want to take everybody they know to come to Jamaica to get married? No, doggone well ain't nobody got that kind of money.
Hey,
Wait,
I want you to come to Puerto Rico. We're gonna have a destination wedding.
Pay for the airfare
Right.
and everything, and then bring a gift. I said, well, I don't have any gifts.
Right.
really?
Well, you ain't gonna have no
Really?
gifts. You got a destination
Listen,
wedding.
You're doing darn good. If I could.
Even if
The gift was me.
Right.
Exactly. Even
Somebody
if
showed
pay
up.
for it.
But wait a minute. I ain't the gift that keeps on giving.
I know that's right. I know that's
All
right.
I'm saying is, guys, if you want to show off, don't show off with your parents.
Show off
money.
on your own
Right,
dime.
because
Ooh,
you
yes.
talk back to your parents, you talk back to your friends, you have the kahunas to talk back. Pay for your damn wedding.
You know, my girlfriend, I was in a wedding, and it's so funny you're bringing it up because my girlfriend, well, you know, we were in our 50s and 60s, and that was when I said, my God, this is so grand. Here we are, down the aisle, this gray hair, you know, gray hair, and mingle gray hair, and middle age, and just strutting for the wedding. And spend a lot of money on the dress, spend a lot of money getting it together. And 6 months,
They were divorced.
I couldn't believe it. I said,
Congratulations.
It's the American way. It is the American way.
The ink had not dried on the account,
Of
and it
course.
was gone. I couldn't believe it. I said, at this stage in the game, good God, I thought you knew who
Yeah.
he was and who she was. I couldn't believe it.
No, they didn't know. This the American way. You know, people nowadays are so in love. They in love with the fact of how big of a wedding can I throw? How much money can I spend? And how fast can I divorce this woman or divorce this man?
This was a grand wedding.
Yeah, first of
And
all,
they had
yeah.
the choir, the whole, about 200
Probably had
choir.
angels flying around the
And-
room.
oh, no, she came singing down the aisle.
Oh, wait a minute. I used to watch this show.
let me
I
just
used to
throw
watch
this in
this
there.
show.
I
Katie,
tell you.
let me just throw
Yeah,
this
guys,
in.
wait a minute. I used to watch this show, and I don't know if it's still on the air or not, but they used to call it Godzilla, Bridezillas.
Yeah, Bridezillas.
Oh,
And
my
these
God.
chicks, I mean, they didn't have no money, but they were squeezing every dime out of the poor guy
It's a show.
to get the wedding of their choice.
That's
This
right.
girl had her father pay for her wedding, and she weighed about 300 pounds.
What
And
business
her
does she
dress
have?
was too small. I'm getting there. She wanted to come brought in on a horse.
At 300
At
pounds.
300
And
pounds.
her butt just as
It
big as the
took
horse.
3 people to get her on that horse,
It's a
but
horse.
she was determined to have that horse, and
The
her
poor
father
horse.
got her that horse.
It's a horse.
And that's the problem. A lot of parents today think that it's the only time you get married. Honey, the way people get divorced around here, they ain't. I wouldn't spend that kind of money on
First
that
of all,
wedding. knowing
everybody,
full well.
nobody gets married today because of he or she. They bring good ethics to the table. They can support eventually in life. Everybody's getting married because they're hot and horny.
Mm-hmm.
And then after the hot and horny goes away about 2-3 years, then they get divorced. They don't understand why they get married.
It's the party. They want the party.
Yeah,
The-
that's
the
what they
wedding
want. They
is
want
nothing
body
more than a
show off
huge
and look
party.
at me for how long does it take for the wedding? A day?
They plan a year or more in advance
Oh, yeah.
for
Oh,
weddings.
yeah.
And they drive their mother and their sisters, everybody nuts in the
Well, they may drive their mother and their sisters and everybody nuts, but they let them drive them nuts because I'm going to tell you, you know, nowadays I don't even understand why people do get married because you're going to get divorced and I'm going to tell you something, divorce is not cheap at all. Divorce is one of the most expensive. I'm not saying
And
that
divorces cost
I'm not
more
saying
than
that
weddings.
people shouldn't get married.
Okay.
Don't get me wrong. But I think before you get married, you really need to think about what you're doing and whether or not, if that person, because you know something, we see signs of why we should not get married all the time, but do we pay them any attention? No.
If
We
you
don't pay them any attention.
If you don't love the person really, really.
But it's
really,
not even about loving them, because love is not what holds a marriage together. What holds a marriage together is like. You gotta
True story.
like that person.
True story.
Well,
You gotta like that person. You can love them all day long. But I'm gonna tell you a secret. If you don't like that person, I guarantee you, you will divorce that person. I guarantee you will divorce them. And that's because you don't like them.
When I say love, love includes a lot of things inside.
Well, love don't include like.
Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't. Love is love. Love ain't no good without like. You gotta have like along with that love.
Well-
Now, if you read the definition of love and like, you'll see they're two different things.
Well, people confuse love with having sex.
Well,
That's
just
true.
some people
No,
do.
That's true. That's
I'm not
true.
saying people do or don't, but everybody's love language is different. But all I'm saying to you, it's just like your friends. The friends you've been around, you've had for 20 years, 30 years, you like those people. You not only like them, but you love them. That's what keeps that friendship together, is because you like that person.
Yeah, because
And
the minute you stop liking a person,
Thank you.
then resentment builds up.
That's right.
And there have been people, even though they tell you you've been married 50, 60 years, honey, they lived in the same house, couldn't stand each other. Was
That's
that a
right.
marriage?
No,
That
So
was
why
not
do
a
they-
marriage.
why
that
do
was
they
a
stay there?
farce.
Yes, it was.
That's a farce.
You have to have fun. You have to have fun.
You gotta like, you gotta care about, you gotta like that person, you gotta care about that
Exactly, and
person.
it doesn't matter, it doesn't really matter the size of the wedding. That's why
Right.
some people get married on the beach, on the mountain, you know, at
Some
City
people go to
Hall.
the justice of the
Right,
peace.
you know, they do whatever they can because they just want to be married and be with that person. I've always thought, you know, a big wedding was a wonderful thing. And, you know, I didn't have a big wedding, but I had the wedding that I wanted.
Okay.
And I'm still with the person that I chose to be with, and I think that's really all that matters.
So what do you think about
Absolutely.
this picture? Last night I was out and I had a great time, baby.
You don't have to give us those details.
What you
He
do
made
say,
it
y'all.
sound like
I mean,
you had
I
a
meant, no, hold
really
on.
great time.
Okay, so tell us what you did. You had a great time,
A
baby.
great time. I was in a restaurant
Uh,
and after we ate, I was watching this couple that came in.
mm.
They ate, and then they got on their cell phones. I think they were there about 2 hours. I don't think they said 2 words to each other.
I've seen that.
Yeah.
He was looking at his salad, then his cell phone, then she was looking at her purse inside. I'm like, what did you lose in your purse? You just got here.
But you know
But
what?
they never exchanged any 2 words.
But here's the crazy thing about it. I've seen a lot of young couples do that too.
Yes.
But here's the thing about that. I've gone into restaurants with my husband for breakfast, lunch, dinner, snack, whatever. And I've seen older couples come in, sit down, eat, and not say one word to each other and not have a phone to keep them occupied. So I don't know which is worse. You know, you at a dinner with somebody because you're so comfortable in your relationship with them, you don't mind if they don't mind you not saying anything to them. And it's the way we interpret things.
I think it's not a matter of being comfortable. I think it's a matter of being uncomfortable with one another. You're more comfortable with your phone, sitting up on Facebook, texting, whatever the hell you're doing.
They definitely
You're
they have
more
definitely
comfortable on your
disconnected.
phone than you are sitting up talking to the person you claim that you love. See, that's the reason why I say
It's
you
all
don't like that
interpretation,
person,
though,
because if
Casey.
I like you and I go to dinner with you, we're gonna have conversation. Me and this? I don't think so. It's gonna be me and you. We're gonna be talking. We're gonna talk about everything.
Christos was saying that he saw a couple, and I've seen them too, young.
Oh yeah, I've
couples,
seen them too.
where they sit
Okay.
across the table after eating, and they pick up their phones and they never say a word to each other.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, it's our interpretation of what's going on.
I agree.
Well, sure, it's our interpretation.
Because they may be so comfortable, and if the possibility does exist, they may be comfortable enough with each other to say, you know, let's just go out to eat tonight, and it's just a part for their course of the day. You know what I'm saying? They go out to eat, they continue what they're doing, and when they leave, they put their phones away, and we don't know what happens when they put
First
their
of
phones
all,
away.
if I go out on a dinner with somebody, I will not sit across from them. I will sit next to them.
Well, I like that.
There you go.
Yeah, exactly. I was
like
sitting
that
next to them enjoying our legs.
There
Ooh,
you go.
I like that even
Whoa.
more. Keep
All right,
talking.
now.
Yeah.
What about this? You go in a nightclub. I was there in a nightclub.
Yeah, I know you had a great weekend, baby.
And here are the couples. They get up and dance. As soon as they sit down, they're on their cell phone again. And you don't know if she's talking to her other boyfriend or if he's talking to his other girlfriend. Why is this so much with their cell phone? everybody?
Social media, baby. They
I
got to
understand,
tweet
but-
about everything. It's on Pinterest.
I
It's
know,
on
but when
Fleek.
do you
It's on
enjoy yourself
Snapchat.
dancing
But
with your
that
husband?
is that
It's
is
an
part
addiction.
of their.
It's an
That's
It's an addiction.
It's an
Thank you.
addiction.
That's exactly what it is.
Okay,
So
you
why
all,
do you
it's
enjoy yourself with your partner?
easy for you all to say that, but I guarantee you, young people today are not going to tell you that it's an addiction.
Well,
It's
wait
the
a
way
minute.
that
What
they
drug addict?
communicate.
What
It's the
drug
way that
addict?
they
Alcoholic?
socialize.
What
Yeah.
drug addict? Alcoholic tell you that they are addicted to some substance? Nobody tells you that. Nobody even realizes that they're addicted to something until it gets them into trouble.
I
mean-
understand what you're saying, but you're talking about a new generation of
What
new
new
It
generation?
ain't got nothing to do with that. It has
We're
nothing to do
talking-
with that.
Human
Stop.
beings
Let
are
me-
the
It has
same.
nothing to do with that.
A new generation
Yes.
of
We heard what you.
Nope, you still
What's the
have it.
question on the
Oh my
floor?
God,
What's
a
the
new
question on the
generation
floor?
of technology, people. It's
Okay.
not your mama's phone and your daddy's old television. It's a new generation of technology and it's very good.
Hold on,
does
but-
not mean
Captivating.
that
It's
exactly.
captivating.
It
It's
does not
captivating.
mean that 5 years from now they go, oh, it's that, and put it down and move on with their
Okay,
life.
let me ask you this. When I go out dancing, when I get up and dance with her, I don't care what they bring in front of me. I'd rather sit down next to her and hold her ass. Excuse me, everybody.
No, don't use
That's
you.
all right.
I like that too.
I want to hold her ass
Hold
close to
man.
me. What do I care about who's bothering me on
But
the
you know,
cell
if you're,
phone?
and you would be.
There you go,
Are you
baby.
kidding me?
There you go.
The
There
great
you go.
speech.
That's
The
just
Greek
take it to
speaks.
that's just the reality.
Look,
If
I
I went
look
out
at-
with a man who wanted to just do that, no way I would pick my phone up.
I know that's right.
All right, but that man, you're talking about saying, I'm gonna snuggle up next to you, we're gonna
Yeah.
play legs under the table, you're gonna grab my ass, we're gonna feed each other. I'm not gonna pick up my phone, but these people out here today are not doing that.
Yeah, because they're not sociable.
So,
Let me tell you
and
this.
here's the question then, whose fault is it? Who's supposed to initiate that kind of contact? Because that is the problem.
Okay.
Nobody knows who's supposed to initiate that kind of contact. If a woman initiates that kind of contact,
Okay, would you want, if that's a problem, then can we say then, if it's a problem, and we don't see a decrease, but we're seeing increase? And when I see families out, and the mom and dad are on the phone, and maybe, I was about a family of five, and another one, the kid, she on the phone, 3 out of 5 on the phone, and the 2 little ones, they just walking, no one's conversing with anyone.
Yeah, they don't
That's a
know.
problem.
That's a
Okay,
real
you're talking
problem.
You know,
about
that's
a
a
That is
whole
a real
But
problem.
every time you bring up something like that, we're bringing up another dynamic. We switched from 2 couples to a whole family.
Well, because the reason why is because it is an addiction, and you say it's a problem. It is a problem. It's
Yeah,
an issue.
it
It's
is
a
a
lack
problem.
It's not a
It's an
problem.
issue.
It's there is
It
no
diminishes
interest to that person.
communication.
For example,
And this-
this mother is pushing this 2-year-old in the park. You think she's talking to the little boy or a girl in the carriage? No, she's on her cell phone gossiping what she wear with her girlfriend last night.
No, wait a minute. No, I got one even better.
Okay.
I'm driving. Mind you, I'm driving. The light is green. Enters the walkway. Susie with her phone like this. She's texting. She don't see me coming. She's getting ready to step off the curb
Oh, yeah.
in front of my car. Don't tell me that crap ain't an addiction. It is an addiction.
Okay.
Because I've almost ran over several people because they are in their cell phones.
Okay, but
Listen,
you-
people,
it's a
these
new
things here,
generation of
regardless, we
technology.
don't even care nothing about that.
Yes, we do.
Listen,
because the
people,
reality
let me
is
tell you
the
something.
generation of
Let me
technology
tell you
that's coming
something.
now, they're going to
This
have
is
Google
dangerous.
Glass, They're
This-
gonna have things on their wrist, and they're not gonna be in their
This
phone. Every time a
is
new generation
dangerous.
of technology comes around,
We don't care what that woman over
everybody
there
is
saying.
captivated by it. And I wouldn't say
Turn her
everybody.
mic off.
No,
I like Chris
turn
Banks.
my mic off.
Turn her mic off.
Get to turn my mic
Turn
off because
her
I
mic
have
off.
an adverse opinion to
It's
you.
my show.
And
Turn
it's-
her mic
Oh
off.
my. Well, what about the interpretation?
Turn it off.
Interpretation is nasty.
Turn his off. It's
What
half
technology? Technology can come and technology comes all the time, more and more. What is that supposed to be?
I'm trying to get on somebody's ship.
You have intellectual.
Are we
You're not a
digressing
machine.
or what?
Any woman who would,
the paper plates.
but you know, any woman who will go out to a dinner with a man like you, who is touching on her and
Yeah.
showing her all this attention, and then for whatever her inane reason, pick up her phone and think it's more important than the physical attraction that's happening.
That's
to her.
what they all do.
You know, yeah, there's a problem.
You know what they're gonna say now from our guys? People, write this down. Write this down from Cristo. If you have a girlfriend or a boyfriend and your phone rings and he or she says, pick it up, honey, marry that person.
And that's Christoph
so
Sparks.
on that Christo
That was a
note,
twist.
Right.
That was a twist.
Right.
we're having you back. Joyce is coming back for part 2 of Emancipation Proclamation.
Oh,
She's coming
emancipation
back.
from the technology.
That's
huh? Come
right.
on. Get some skin.
And we really need to emancipate from the technology. So Joyce Segar Ramza will be back here next week, and she's doing part 2 of Emancipation Proclamation, because we actually didn't touch on some of the things that we really want to. You know, we had Joe over there jumping in with her 2 cents, and Christos over there jumping in with his 2 cents, and we couldn't even keep them quiet.
Whatever.
Yeah, but
Okay.
everybody says,
We couldn't even keep them
We
quiet.
can keep you quiet, even if it is your shit.
no, but everybody says my phone is private, right? It's my private. You can't touch it.
Okay, we'll save that for part 2 next week.
I think
Your
so.
private phone.
I think
So,
so.
wait a minute.
I think we should have another
Listen,
show.
guys,
It's the private phone.
Wait a minute. We only got a few more minutes.
Right.
You know, when you're having
Marco.
fun, time flies. So, Christo, tell us where you're going to be at next week or this weekend.
This weekend I have a big plan. I'm going for horseback riding.
Oh, okay.
Ooh, that sounds
Frozen.
like fun.
Oh, frozen horseback
Yeah,
riding.
I'm gonna have my fur coat on.
Uh-huh,
I'm gonna have my shearling hat,
uh-huh.
and I'm gonna kick it up.
Well, all right.
Yeah.
All right.
No cell phone on that menu.
And Joe, where you gonna be, baby?
Well, I don't know where I'm going to be somewhere, but I
I
do
know
need
where
to-
you're gonna be.
I know, but I need to tell everybody not to forget about the Jamaica Show Festival of Music.
Jamaica
and
Funk Show,
That's right.
Festival of Music.
The Jamaica Funk Show, Festival of Music and Fundraiser for the Ronald McDonald House / Red Cross Blood Drive that we're having on May 1st, 2016 at the Harold Washington Cultural Center, 4701 South King Drive. It's going to be from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. You can get your general admission tickets right now. If you want to, give us a call. KT's going to give you all the rest of that measure. But the general admission tickets are available right now. It's going to be from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. We will have VIP tickets.
That's
Yeah,
all
and
day.
yes, it's all day.
It's gonna be
It's a two-part.
Yes.
It's a two-part event.
Yeah.
And
But-
you can reach out for general admission tickets at 847-877-0510. That's 847-877-0510, and we do have group ticket prices. So
Yes.
if you got a group and you want to bring a group, give KT a call.
Right, and the
she'll
tickets,
handle
the
it.
general admission tickets are $10.
Woo! And $5 for children
Under
9 to
9.
17.
That's right, that's
Oh,
right.
that's good.
But
Yes.
the group tickets are really
Yes.
good, so the bigger the group, the more you
The
save.
more discount you
The
get.
more you save.
This is for Ronald.
And this is a good thing.
Yes, Ronald
for the-
McDonald's.
This is a charity. It's a fundraiser for Ronald McDonald House, and it is also we're going to be spreading awareness about the African Americans and why they don't give blood. So,
All right. So, anyways, y'all check us out. We're on Facebook. It's all over everywhere. So check us out, but in the meantime, in between time, it's time for us to get our black aunties out of here, and including the little white one over there called Christoph.
No, he's
Uh,
Greek.
It's
He's
time,
Greek.
it's time for us.
Greek one.
Oh, he got a Greek one. Okay, he's got a little Greek one over there. But it's time for us to get up out of here. We want to thank you for listening in to the Jamaica Funk Show today. Me, Robin, and Johanna will be in Columbus, Ohio this weekend with Flex Crew. So, stay safe, be prosperous. We love you. God bless you. And, well, Iron.
You didn't get all that now? You didn't get all that? What does that mean anyway?
Well, Iron means, well, Iron, okay. Okay, Irish.